Welcome to this talk about spinal infection claims, which is being given by me, Harry Trusted, a barrister from 2 Temple Gardens, for MBL. This talk is aimed at lawyers involved in personal injury work, both claimant and defendant, arising from either clinical negligence or some kind of accidents, such as road accidents or employer's liability. I suspect the large majority of spinal infection claims will arise out of clinical negligence, but occasionally an accident may precipitate an infection which will disclose a significant claim. Now, just to give you an overview of what we're going to be looking at in this talk, first of all, I shall give you a reminder of the anatomy of the spinal column, that is to say, the bones which surround the spinal cord, the soft tissue which connects the brain to the neurology of the rest of the body. I'll then look at the function of the meninges of the spinal cord, which have, as you'll see, a protective role in covering that vulnerable and important anatomy. Then we'll look at meningitis itself, that is to say, the infective and destructive processes which can affect the spinal cord meninges. We'll consider sepsis as a complication of meningitis, and then look at some of the other infective conditions which you may meet in association with abnormal spinal pathologies. We'll look briefly at liability considerations, the kinds of things you have to look out for, emphasizing as we do that this kind of litigation is highly fact dependent, and therefore you will want to consider with care what the evidence from the witnesses really demonstrates. And lastly, we'll look at quantum experts, the kind of evidence you're likely to need if you have a case of someone who suffered a spinal infection and has a claim.